All right, let's get into Yokohama though. I watched most of the tournament that was streamed, not all of it. I missed a lot of the top cut rounds, which of course are the most important rounds. But Terrabox did end up taking the whole thing down. And this build specifically, there's like nothing crazy as far as new card inclusions. There's like a couple interesting to like look at as far as the list goes, I think, in comparison to other builds of Terrabox. There's one Lily's Determination over the... Generally, people have like played a research in Terrabox. I think the Lily's Determination probably makes sense as like the better card. Terrabox is a super combo heavy deck, and having a heavy draw supporter in the deck is cool. Having a heavy draw supporter in the deck is cool, but discarding your cards is not cool. So the Lily makes a ton of sense for that reason. Also, like turn 2 Lilies after going first just sounds really, really good. Like attach to Water Pawn, Owl for Crystal plus, and then you attach and you play Lilies, draw 8. Like that sets you up so well for your follow-up turns, I feel like. So the Lily's cool. Only plays 3 Crispin, which is interesting. Pretty much every list that I've seen for a long time now has been playing 4 Crispin and a Super Rod. This list, only 3 Crispin, 2 E-Switch, 2 Grass Ogre Pawn, so playing a little bit more heavily through the Ogre Pawn, of course. And then, yeah, no Super Rod, like I mentioned, but he's still playing the second Night Stretcher. He's playing the Iron Bundle, which is also like an inclusion that we don't see all the time. And it feels like almost every Terrabox player has started including the Iron Leaves as a mobility card alongside the Turo, but then also a way to one-hit KO stuff like Charizard, Zoroark, Grimmsnarl, things like that more aggressively, because the Ogre Pawns don't cut it as well as having something like the Iron Leaves in the deck. The Iron Leaves definitely makes that knockout a lot easier. Yeah, also plays a 3 Stadium, as well 3 Area 0, which you don't only see, and no Stadium Bump, which honestly I think just makes sense. Every time I play Terrabox, the Stadium Bump Stadium never does what you want it to do. Like the theoretical reason behind playing a non-Area 0 Stadium is to be able to bump your own Area 0 and discard liabilities off your bench, but just like never, it literally just never happens. Like literally never happens. So I like the lack of the Stadium Bump, I guess. And then like someone just mentioned in chat, no Kangaskhan. Yeah, it's not. This list is not playing the Kangaskhan, which I mean they just think it's not worth the bench space inclusion, right? That's got to be the reason they don't include it, or it's not worth having the liability of a 3 prize Pokemon on your bench. Definitely doesn't seem like those are the cons of playing Kangaskhan, right? It takes up a bench space, so you have to have bench space for it, and then it's a 3 prize Pokemon on your bench. So the winner here thought it was not worth including the Kangaskhan. Does not have it. Also doesn't have Briar. No Briar in this build. And no Mega Mawile, which is also another card that we saw people playing in the Terra boxes at the Champions League as well. Yeah, no Kangaskhan. No Kangaskhan. No new cards besides the Lily's Determination. That's it. It's the only new card inclusion. Gardevoir did get second. And honestly, well, this is like one of those things with like, I'm not like ridiculously shocked that Terrabox is generally unfavored against Gardevoir. Especially Gardevoir that has a Klefki in it, but you know, it is best of 1. Even if it's best out of 3, Terrabox beating Guardy wouldn't have been like the biggest shock in the world. But this Guardy list is definitely very interesting compared to what we have been playing in our current format pre-Mega Evolution. So it's got the new Ralts, of course, the new Curlias. So we got a 3-2-2 Gardevoir line. It is a Bravery Charm build, so they're including Drifloon and Screamtail. Heavy on the Monkey Dories, 4 Monkey Dories, but only 3 Dark Energy. Usually when we see 4 Monkey Dories, we see the 4 basic dark to go with it. Then it has the Klefki in here, of course, to like slow down stuff like Terra boxes, Phantom decks in general. It's pretty good against. I wonder what like the other main reason. Maybe that's just literally it. They just want to be able to like slow down like Raging Bolt and Terra Box and things like that, I guess. Yeah. Doesn't have Mega Gardevoir, but does have Diancie. Does have Mega Diancie EX, which for 2 basic Psychic Energy, or for 2 Psychic Energy, you can discard up to 2 Psychic Energy from it, and you do 120 damage times the amount of Psychic Energy you discarded. But it does cap at 240. So the most damage you can do with Mega Diancie is 240. Wait, I am right with that, right? The most damage you can do with Diancie is 240 damage, right? What's the point of the Diancie? I think it's just to have... It's just a big basic attacker. You put a Bravery Charm on there. It's got 320 HP. Its ability says it takes 30 less damage from attacks. So you put a Bravery Charm on that thing. You're looking at a Pokemon with an effective 350 HP, hitting for 240 damage. Like, that's not terrible. Just for Bolt or Dango. It KOs Bolt, KOs Dango. It is weak to Metal, so it's probably not great against Dango. Against Bolt, it's probably... Well, against Bolt, it's probably not even that good because you're giving up 3 prize cards. You're probably not putting this down in play against Bolt at all, to be honest. Another big omission from the list. There is Fez. There's no Mew EX, but no Mew EX kind of makes sense because there's no Clefairy either. If you play Clefairy, you definitely want to be playing Mew, or if you're playing Mew, you're probably playing Clefairy, and vice versa for the most part. You can definitely like play Clefairy without Mew, but that's definitely an interesting omission from the deck as well. Now, Gardevoir Monkey Dory has always been pretty good against Dragapult. Like just Gardevoir with Monkey Dories. The Clefairy kind of just like puts it over the top, and then the matchup feels way better. But I feel like even pre-Clefairy, Gardevoir was doing fine against Dragapult, right? Like they were doing fine. The matchup definitely felt fine. Is Steel Week not Dark Week? Yeah, that's like a big thing for the... What is this guy called? Diancie. The Mega Diancie for sure. It feels like, is that it is Metal Week. It's not Dark Week. So going up against stuff like Grimmsnarl would be like a big reason to have this card in the deck. Bring it up there. You're not 1-hit KOing the Grimmsnarl, of course, unless you have enough Monkey Dory set up, but you're hitting them pretty hard, and you can effectively 1-hit KO them through enough Monkey Dory uses, plus maybe their own Frostlass being online. So there is that. But yeah, the Mega Diancie is interesting inclusion. I think the omissions are like the more interesting things though, for sure. No Mega Guardy. I mean, not that like they need to play Mega Guardy. We've seen a lot of Guardy lists without Mega Guardy, but isn't playing the Mega Guardy, isn't playing Clefairy, isn't playing Mew, but then has the Mega Diancie here. But then if we get to the trainer part, you know, 2 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Artisan, that's pretty normal. 3 Vessel, 7-3 on the energy split, 2 Rare Candy, no TM Evo, and there's no Arven. I mean, it makes sense. If you're not going to play Arven, playing TM Evo gets a lot weaker for sure, but it's not like even super heavy on the Rare Candies. It's still only 2 Rare Candies in here. So you're not that aggressively getting to your Gardevoirs. Like you don't have the TM Evo to kind of like skip a turn of evolution. If you draw into like a Candy Guardy combo, that's cool, but like that doesn't happen that often. So I mean, it's gonna happen a little bit more often with Lily's Determination probably, but yeah, this is like this build of Guardy feels like specifically slow. And I wonder with the Klefki, honestly, if they were choosing first to go first, put Klefki in the active and slow down the opponent, and then kind of force them to match your pace. I would guess maybe that's how they were approaching, it. But that's definitely interesting as well. The lack of TM Evo, lack of Arven makes sense once you're not playing TM Evo, of course. But for the recoveries, 3 Night Stretcher, usually like the go-to for a long time now. Feels like it's been 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Super Rod. I've always like found the Super Rod to be pretty good in Gardevoir, but they're just going up straight up with 3 Night Stretcher. And maybe that makes a little bit more sense when you're not playing something like Arven in the deck, to be able to like find the Super Rod kind of more on command when you need it. 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Boss for the supporter. So very heavy on the supporters, heavy on the Gust as well, I guess, with that, with the 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Boss, 2 Bravery Charm to go with the Drifloon, of course. And then for the supporter count, there is no Arvening here, so you have to make up for that somehow. As far as like the draw supporter count goes, it's like not that crazy in comparison to like people playing Arven. Like the go-to lineup, I feel like has been like 2 Arven, 4 Research, 4 Iono in most Guardy builds. We saw like the Jellicent build from Aban and Henry over the weekend at Pittsburgh was like 3 Research, 3 Arven, 4 Iono, but basically like 10 draw supporters, or 10... I mean, Arven's not a draw supporter, but you get what I mean. 10 supporters that like help us play the game. This list only playing like 11, so it's like 1 more supporter. It's not like crazy, right? 4 Iono, 4 Lilies, 3 Research, and then 1 Boss's Orders. The Boss's Orders is something we don't see very often in Gardevoir, but it shows up now and then. They got that in there as well. And then they have the new stadium. They have 1 of the new stadium in here, which is the draw a card for each psychic Pokemon you have in play. Discard a basic psychic from your hand, draw a card for each psychic energy. Draw a card for each psychic Pokemon you have in play, which is a good stadium for sure. And we actually see, I think the other Guardy lists that we saw on stream weren't playing Fez for basically that reason. Like you have the stadium, Fez loses a little bit of value. I don't know if Fez loses that much value though to like not play Fez and Dippity just because you play the stadium. 11 draw supporter seems insane. Does it? Like most decks are playing like 10 supporters, like 10 play the game supporters. Like 11 is just like 1 more than that. It hasn't been confirmed yet. Henry didn't make this build, just saying. True, this could be Henry Chow's next. As far as we know, this is Henry's first influence over into Japanese tournaments. This could be his next creation already. But yeah, the Guardian list is definitely very interesting for sure. Up next, we'll take a look at the top 4 lists. One of them was a Dragapult Dusknoir. Pultnor here, 444 Pult line, 2221 Dusknoir line, 2 Badoo, Fez, Latias, Hawlucha, Ursaluna, and the Monkey Dory. So nothing crazy there. 3 Counter Catcher, 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Candy. So they have the candies in here. They are rocking some count of candy. 1 Jamming Tower. The energy count is 7 here. 2 Psychic Fire, Triple Luminous, and the Neo Upper. 3 Night Treacherous. The Eerie in here is definitely like the standout card. For the supporter lineup, it's nothing crazy. 1 Hilda, 1 Brox, 4 Lily's Determination, 4 Iono, 2 Boss. The 1 Jamie Tower, like I mentioned. But the Eerie here is definitely like the standout. I'm very curious to know, like, maybe it's for like maybe like specifically it's for the Golden Go matchup. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm curious as to know what the reason for the Eerie is. You will find it eventually for sure. Like, you will eventually draw into the Eerie. Like, Dragapult sees a lot of cards. But if you're playing Eerie, and you don't find it till like the mid-late game, you're not playing one of your super powerful late game supporters, which is Boss and Iono, right? So in the early game, try and play the Lily's Determination or the Hilda or the Brox setup. And then you get to that mid-late game. That's usually when you want to either be playing Iono Counter Catcher or playing Boss as Dragapult. So finding time to use the Eerie and then having it actually hit and take away important item cards from the opponent. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Eerie. The Eerie seems super iffy, to be honest. I'd be curious to know, like, what are their reasonings for it. There might be like some matchups where it just lines up really, really well into Golden Go is the one that comes to mind, like, most readily in the front of my mind. It's like, okay, against Golden Go, I could maybe see it possibly, but is that really better than running like a second Jamming Tower for the Golden Go matchup? Not sure. I mean, you can catch anyone off guard with it, which is like kind of the cool part. No one expects Eerie, so you're gonna be able to catch some people with it for sure. And if you do draw it like really early, if you set up really cleanly and just naturally draw into it, you know, doing an aggressive Eerie can be pretty powerful as well. But discarding double SER would go kind of crazy. Yeah, but they also have to like have 2 SER in the hand, right? So I don't know. Up next we have Marnie's Grimmsnarl, 223 Grimline is playing the Maractus, has a 3-2 Frostlass line, so slightly thicker Frostlass line. 4 Monkey Dory, the Ursaluna, and the Duck for the Pokemon, so it does have the Psyduck in there to help against the Dust. There's no Shaman for the bench protection, but if you go up against like specifically the Raging Bolt matchup, then you have Maractus for that, I guess. Marnie's Orbeetle. Yeah, just the Google Translate. That's just Google Translate not translating super well and giving us Marnie's Orbeetle. But then, yeah, it has a Duck in here for the Dusknoirs. So I have to imagine this build has to have like a super good Pultnor matchup for sure. Maractus over Yveltal too. That is a good point to make. Yeah, it is Maractus over Yveltal. They do have Yveltal legal over there, but chose to go with the Maractus still, which maybe makes sense. Maractus is like better against Golden Go specifically to get the 6 damage counters into play on a Golden Go to like just kind of potentially win the prize trade. So I can understand playing Maractus for that reason. The mobility of the Yveltal is like its big selling point. Yeah, the big selling point of the Yveltal is the free retreat, but usually if you're using Yveltal or Maractus and you could retreat it, you're probably winning the game anyways because your opponent's stuck. Like having them stuck for multiple turns in a row means you usually can just win off that anyways. So yeah. Added energy. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. There's 9 basic energy in here. My goodness. There's 9 basic energy. Well, yeah, it's not that high. In my head, I was thinking like most people played 7, but most people play 8. So this is like 1 more. I actually played 9 basic energy myself at NAIC. I thought it was like super high. In my head, I was like, oh my gosh, people usually play 7. This is 9. People usually play 8. 2 Counter Catcher, 3 Night Stretcher, and the Super Rod, so a lot of recovery. 2 Buddy Poffin, of course, kind of standard. For the stadiums, 1 Artisan, 2 Spike isn't anything crazy. Tool cards, the Air Balloon, 2 Evo, and Devo. Only 1 rare candy. I've actually been seeing like quite a few Grim lists go down to that 1 rare candy, which I don't hate. No Ultra Ball either. Yeah, no Ultra Ball is definitely interesting, especially when you are still committing a space in the deck to a Nest Ball. It feels like maybe the Nest Ball should just be an Ultra Ball, to be honest. But yeah, no Ultra Ball in here, which has been like a standard for a long time in the deck. Still playing Secret Box, of course. For supporters, 4 Arvin, of course, to find the Secret Box. 4 Iono, 3 Lilies of Determination. The new inclusion in the deck is the Lilies of Determination. Still plays a research despite having access to the Lilies of Determination, so it still has 1 research in there, which the utility of that might be worth the inclusion because you can like secret box for research when it's better than a Lilies of Determination, but on average, Lilies of Determination is definitely going to be the better card. High in the Gust account, the 2 counter catcher, the 2 boss. Yeah, and then the 9 basic Dark Energy is interesting as well. The biggest card that stands out to me that this list doesn't play is like definitely Shaman, but yeah, definitely just Shaman, I guess. That's like the big one that is like, I've always like been a huge fan of Shaman just for the Raging Bolt matchup, but maybe Raging Bolt isn't as popular over there. I don't actually know like the meta statistics for decks right now over in Japan. I will say I don't think Raging Bolt's a very good play right now in general. I don't know if it changes that much in the Mega Evolution format, but is Duck really better than Shaman? That just depends on the metagame. Oh, in terms of like playing one or the other just depends on the metagame. What's your thoughts on should Pokemon have alternative formats like expanded as major events or regionals to mix things up? For the way it's expanded currently is no. Having alternate formats is fine if it's a good alternate format, but expanded is not a good alternate format. Up next, we're going to the top 8 decks. We got a Raging Bolt here, and this is a pretty standard Raging Bolt. There's not too much to talk about here, to be honest. They're playing Koraidon over Slitherwing, which is... I feel like there's just never a reason to play the Koraidon. All right, so there is definitely some pros to the Koraidon, but what are they? Like, why not just always play the Slitherwing just in case Pikachu shows up? Like, Pikachu won the whole tournament. Like, Terrabox won the tournament. Like, why are we playing Koraidon? Like, ever? Like, what is the redeeming value of playing the Koraidon? Like, what is the situation where it's like, okay, I'm so glad I had Koraidon. Koraidon's probably for Typhlosion. There's no way though. He's chill. That's it. He's just chill. Like, I actually just now I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, why would you ever play the Koraidon? Like, what is the reason for the Crustle matchup? Does it actually make that big of a difference in the Crustle matchup? Two fighting is clunky. I guess it's just like a more efficient one prize attacker that KOs stuff like Fez. I guess it is more efficient. It is more efficient, right? That is fair. The Slitherwing is going to be a little bit more clunky. The double fighting versus the double colorless. Fair. Yeah, there is some real pros, I guess, to it. Another Grimmsnarl here in the top 8. No Ursaluna. Besides that, the 3 Stretcher, the 1 Super Rod, 3 Counter Catcher, 2 Boss, is playing the Maractus, 4 Munkidori, does have the Shaman, no Duck, but then also has the Tatsugiri in here as well. 9 basic Dark Energy as well. I think that's a standout. Is playing the Ultra Ball, no Nest Ball, but doesn't have Ursaluna in here, so that makes a little bit more sense. 2-1 split on the stadiums, 2 Spikemuth, 1 Artisan. I'm wondering, where's the space ending up here? They only have... They have a 3rd Counter Catcher in this build. And the Tatsu. They are playing a 3-2 Frostlass as well. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I'm like wondering, we only have 11 draw supporters here compared to the 12 from up here in this build. I guess the space actually makes sense. They don't have Ursaluna. Does the space make sense? Am I trolling? Is this a 60 card deck? For some reason, this doesn't feel like a 60 card deck. Only 1 candy? Yeah, but this list also only played 1 candy. This list had Ursaluna. Maybe it's just 1 card difference or something like that. This feels like it's not a 60 card deck, but I guess I'm just trolling. They have a 3rd Counter Catcher. Yeah, the 3rd Counter Catcher. Ultra Ball over Nest. Tatsugiri over Ursaluna. Shaman over Duck. It literally is just that 1 difference, right? It's Counter Catcher over Research, and those other changes, I guess, as well, yeah. Another Marty's Grimmsnarl actually had like a better performance than I realized, to be honest. They had 3 in the top 8, right? Yeah, 3 in the top 8. Here's another build. This one, no Maractus, no Duck or Shaman. Does have the Ursaluna. Playing 2 Ultra Ball. Had the Tatsu as well. Played the Iron Bundle. 4-4-4 on the supporters. 4 Iono, 4 Lose Determination, 4 Arven. To me, that makes the most sense. Just play the 3 most powerful supporters in the deck. To me, that makes the most sense for sure. 0 Boss. I also like that as well. I'm a big hater of Boss in Grimmsnarl. Is still playing 2 Counter Catcher. Honestly, out of all the Grimmsnarl lists, I think I like this one the most, except for maybe the Badoo. But Except for maybe the Badoo. Well, Badoo and Tatsu I don't really like, to be honest, too much. But besides that, I think I like this list the most out of all of them in comparison. And the final top 8 deck here is a Golden Go deck with the new Soul Rock Lunatone engine. 2/2 Soul Rock and Lunatone. So Golden Go is still your heavy hitter, your main attacker overall to win games, but now there's a new draw engine to play in Golden Go. The Lunatone discards a basic fighting energy from your hand and draws 3 cards. If you have Soul Rock in play, and Soul Rock does 70 damage for a single fighting energy. So like this build specifically, you can like just look to go second and then trolley turn 1 attack with Soul Rock, which is kind of cool, to be honest. Yeah, it does only have 1 Genesect, which is like... One Genesect feels a little sketchy for sure. But you're drawing... The thing, I think it maybe makes sense. Like, naturally drawing into it matters less when you're playing through Trolley, right? You're playing through Trolley. So naturally drawing into the Genesect doesn't matter as much. And if you do prize the Genesect, like turn 1, you're aggressively drawing cards from turn 1 on, right? With the Lunatone. So... you might just naturally be able to draw into your Golden Ghost anyways. So honestly, 1 Genesect, I actually don't hate the solo Genesect too much. So as Fez, of course, it's an 8-3 split on the energy. So 8 fightings, because that is our draw power through the Lunatone, and then only 3 basic lightnings, or 3 basic metals, excuse me. 1 Puff and 1 Nest Ball, because we have plenty of Pokemon search for the Vessel. And it does play 4 Fighting Gong, which to me feels overkill. Like, we're playing so heavily through Trolley. The Fighting Gong feels overkill to have so much of in here. It feels like the Vessels, higher kind of Vessel would be better. Yeah. So I don't get how Trolley decks can perform well. It feels like Joltik box levels of I need to go second. It is a bigger part of those decks for sure. But if this deck goes first and if also Golden Go turn 2, it's not that big of a deal. I guess like you're not going to get Gimme Ghouls out, so you're going to be like an extra turn behind. I mean, it definitely is true. Like that's how the deck does operate for sure. It depends on how things kind of play out a little bit though. Because like, even if you go first, if you just turn 2 attack with Lunatone for a KO, you're still kind of on pace for where you want to be honest. Like if you go first and pass and then turn 2 Trolley and just get a Lunatone or Soul Rock KO, you're still kind of on pace for where you want to be, right? Actually, and I am kind of surprised that... And I guess like that's one reason to play the Fighting Gongs, probably the heavy count of Fighting Gongs is like it helps your turn 1 going first is better because then you can actually set up Lunatone turn 1 and like draw cards because you have like a heavy Gong count for sure. Man, something else I was gonna say. I'm surprised there's no Iron Bundle for like just trying to force the turn 1 Soul Rock KO. Like increase your odds of just getting Soul Rock to get a knockout. 4 superior energy retrieval, of course. A Night Stretcher is the only recovery. 3 Vessel. Picnic Basket in here for healing, specifically good against the Grimmsnarl matchups. 1 Counter Catcher alongside 4 Boss's Orders. Does play 3 Air Balloon, and then also plays the Vitality Band. Oh, that's what it's for. Yeah, the Vitality Band on Soul Rock. Soul Rock ignores weakness and resistance, so being able to do 80 damage means you KO Frillish. And then Vitality Band can be used for other things. Like a Vitality Band on a Golden Go means you need 1 less energy to KO Guardy EX or another Golden Go in the mirror match. So Vitality Band has more use cases outside of Soul Rock KO Frillish, but it can also get you those early Frillish KOs against Jealous and Guardy, which is pretty good. So the Vitality Band seems pretty good. Seems like worth the inclusion for sure. And then for the supporter lineup, I'm a little surprised to not see any Pokegears in here or Petrol. There's only 4 Arvid to help find that Trolley first turn, but once again, you do play 4 Gong, so getting to your Soul Rock Lunatone combo, plus getting the energy for it to just draw cards and see more cards. Pretty good odds of doing that because of the 4 Gong. But still, I would have assumed this build would have like more gears and like Petrol even maybe. Maybe something to like consider testing out though. But yeah, 4 Arvin, 2 Cypher, 2 Turo, 4 Boss, and 1 Iono. And then the only stadium in here is Artisan. Don't play Lavencia anymore because you have no lighting energy to work with. You could still theoretically like play a Monkey Dory in this deck. You could theoretically play a Monkey Dory in this deck. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to fit a Dark Energy or 2, but the bench space, you probably just don't have bench space for that, like, ever. Because you have Soul Rock and Lunatone on the bench, and theoretically you want 3 Gimme Ghouls, and then Genesect or Fez gets involved as well, so you don't have the bench space for that at all. That's not called for Family Gimme, right? No, these are all minor errand running Gimme Ghouls. All right, now into the top 16 decks. We We've got a Charizard EX build. This is the cool Charizard build that we actually saw on stream at some point. We saw this on stream. It's Charizard EX, standard 3-2-2 Charizard line, nothing crazy there. 2-1-2 Pidgeot line. The Chi-Yu, the Fez, has Shaman, only 1-1-1 Dusknoir line, and 1 Munkidori. But then the interesting inclusions are the Tatsugiri, the Klefki, and then 3 Jet Energy for mobility. Specifically to be able to like, utilize the Tatsugiri, but then also getting Klefki into the active and giving a way to get Klefki out of the active. So another deck with Klefki. Klefki was in the second place Guardy deck, and Klefki was also in the top 16 Charizard deck. So interesting to include. I don't even know. I mean, it's good against like Owl decks. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the only reason to include it, to be honest. I'm actually not sure. But yeah, Klefki did show up a little bit here for sure. No free retreat Pidgeotto. Yeah, that is interesting as well. It is playing the 90 HP non-free retreat Pidgeotto. It's playing Call for Family Pidgey as well. Why is Klefki good against Owls? Because you take away their turn 1 Fan Rotom. If you go first, like you go first, shuts off Lunatone, but not a huge reason. Oh, that might be the reason, to be honest. It shuts off Lunatone Soul Rock. You just put it... Yeah, the Klefki is good because you can choose first, put it in the active, and you take away the turn 1 Fan Rotom, which is like their big setup card. Klefki to disrupt Psyduck. Oh, true. It does disrupt the Duck. So that would be another reason to play it in Charizard with Dusknoir specifically. Oh, and that's also how Jets can be super relevant, right? You go Jet up the Klefki, shut down the Duck, pop Nor, Clops, retreat the Klefki into the Charizard. Okay. So there's quite a few use cases for the Klefki, actually. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the Klefki is actually... All right, you know, the Klefki, I'm coming around on a little bit more for sure. That actually is pretty sick to slow things down. There definitely is quite a few use cases for it. Yeah, only 1-1 Dusknoir line. The supporter lineup is a little bit interesting as well. You appreciate the 17 months there, Fields. So you got 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball. Only 3 Red Candy. It is a TM Evo build. There's 2 TM Evo, 2 Super Rod, of course, 2 Counter Catcher, Maximum Belt. There's also only 2 Arven, though, which definitely stood out to me a little bit. Only 2 Arven. The Jet Energy is also nice because it increases their odds of just seeing an energy in the opening hand for TM Evo. That's like one of the reasons that TM Evo always felt kind of iffy in Charizard, because you don't really want to play a super high energy count in Charizard because you don't want to play a super high energy count in Charizard because you don't really need to. So then, like, including TM Evo in the deck is awkward because it's like you're trying to take advantage of the fact that Charizard is so self-sufficient when it evolves, and then using Super Rod later to recover your energy. But then this has a pretty high energy count because of the Jets. So you can include the TM Evo. So having TM Evos, you're going to be able to pull them off more often, but you have to find them still. And this build only has 2 Arven to find the TM Evos, besides naturally drawing into them, of course. And then 2 Boss, 2 Iono, and 4 Lily's Determination. Of course, Lily's Determination seems really good in here. But yeah, finding the TM Evo on that first turn of the game could be a little bit tough, I guess. That's the only thing I can think about with this build. And then 2 Artisanic here for more Pokemon search alongside everything else going on. But yeah, the Charizard build, this is definitely a cool build of Charizard. No Duck, though, for like the Paltnor matchup, which is something I would like, you'd probably want to try and play. But like, you don't have room for everything, right? We got like Tatsugiri in here, Klefki in here, Shaman in here. It plays a Munkidori. It'd be nice to play the Duck as well, I'm sure. But another Raging Bolt here. Once again, playing the Koraidon over the Slitherwing. Thin Owl line, or thinner Owl line than the average. Most people play 3-3. This one only has 2-2. Only 1 Fan Rotom as well, so not as heavily invested into the Owls. Then it has the Squawk ability. So trying to be a little bit more aggressive on that first turn. You get the turn 1 knockout through a Sada Crispin play, but it doesn't like play that many more outs to those kind of play. I guess 4 Vessel. It is playing 4 Vessel. A lot heavier on the recovery. 2 Nitrotar alongside an Energy Retrieval and a Superior, and still plays 6 basic grass. So I guess it is pretty heavy on that. And then also has a Bravery Charmer here. This is an interesting build of Raging Bolt for sure. Yeah, Koraidon over Slitherwing. I don't know about that. Has Baby Bolt, of course. Typhlosion did make it into the top 16. We actually saw their top 32 match, I want to say. I forget what they beat in top 32, but 4-4-3 Typhlosion line. 2 candies. This is the no engine build of Typhlosion. They don't have Pidgeot. They don't have Dracloak. They don't have Zoroark. Fully reliant on the Tatsugiri and the Pheasantipity for supplemental draw around just the I mean, Typhlosion is like a pretty self-sufficient Pokemon through the Ethan's Adventure, of course, and the ability of Quilava. But you need a little bit more than that. Got the Fez, got the Tatsugiri. And then also, I mean, plenty of room for the support Pokemon, right? Victini obviously is necessary in the deck for hitting bigger numbers faster or hitting bigger numbers in general. But you get the Shaman in there, you get the Psyduck in there, all that protection for our bench Pokemon to protect for around board wipes and stuff like that. Protection against Water Pawn, Baby Bolt, Psyduck in there to protect against the Dusknors. So a ton of protection in here for the Typhlosion line. 4 Ultra, 4 Buddy Poffin, 1 Vessel, 2 Candy, 2 Counter Catcher, couple Boss, 1 Super Rod, 2 Night Catchers, the Ticket, of course, 2 Team Evo alongside the Secret Box, the Bangles, Air Balloon. And then for the supporter lineup, 4 Ethan's Adventure, 2 Arven, 3 Research, 1 Iono, 1 Kirin, 2 Boss, and then only 1 Gravity Mountain, 1 Artisan. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, right? Only 1 Gravity Mountain. Did we do any dude yet? Not yet, Locke. And then 5 basic fires. So it's cool to see Typhlosion out here having some success. Another Grimmsnarl. Is that 4 Grimmsnarls in top 16? Grimmsnarl had to be the most successful deck overall, right? Or most represented deck in top 16? I would imagine. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 Grimmsnarls in top 16. 25% of top 16 was Grim. Where is it? Was there anything different in this build? They had the Shaman and the Duck. They had 2 Yveltal, a thinner Grim line, a 2-2-2 Grim line as opposed to the 3-2-2. Thinner Frostlass line as well, 2-2 Frostlass, 4 Monkey Dory. Only 1 Buddy Poffin? I bet they open it in their starting hand every time anyways, though. 2 Yveltal, so more invested in the Yveltal. Only 1 TM Evo, so less invested in getting the Frostlass setup. Still played the Tatsugiri. A lot of Gust, but that makes sense. If you're going to play double Yveltal, you want to play a lot of Gust, of course. What does Yveltal do? It has a corner attack. It just does 20 damage and they can't retreat. So it's basically Maractus, but it has free retreat, but it doesn't have Maractus' ability. So it's like the trade-off of playing one over the other. So heavily invested into the Yveltal. 1 Evo, 1 Devo. 4 Laser Determination, 4 Iono, 4 Arven. I think that we'll see that become like probably the standard in Grimmsnarl. Kind of makes the most sense. We'll see. So this is like not less of a Grimmsnarl deck and more of a Yveltal deck, but it's like halfway between both of being like a retreat lock deck / a Grimmsnarl deck. It's like has a little bit more invested into being both than just like more purely a Grimmsnarl deck like the other builds. Poltnor here, 4/3 Pult, 3/2/2 Dusknor, 3 Candy, 1 Jamming, 2 Badoo, Halucha, Latias, Fez, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Poffin, 3 Counter Catcher, 2 Boss. I mean, this is a pretty standard Pult, right? Nothing crazy. 7 Energy, 4 Laser Determination, 4 Iono, Hilda Jack, Turo. Yeah, pretty standard Pult stuff. Only 2 Night Stretcher, but it's not the first time we've seen that. More Poltnor. Oh no, this is Poltnor. The Dragapult was on the other side, on the end of it. I was like, wait, this is Dusknor what? But it's, yeah, Dusknor Pult. No Monkey Dory in this build. This build, Monkey Dory, 3/2/2 Norline, 2 Badoo, the Lucha, the Fez, no Latias? Wait, hold up. Oh, this list didn't have Ursaluna, actually. Interesting. No Ursaluna in this list. Actually, that is a pretty big omission. Wait, now I'm actually curious. Did the other Poltnor build have the Ursaluna? It's a very interesting omission, to be honest. This one did have the Ursaluna. I feel like the Ursaluna is just so good in the deck. I feel like cutting it ever just doesn't make any sense. This one also does not have the Ursaluna. This one also doesn't have Latias, which can be used a lot more things than just Ursaluna. It's how you can get your Badoo in the active on that first turn more consistently. But if you're playing Latias, I feel like you might as well play the Ursaluna at that point. It kind of makes sense. If you play Luna, you have to play Latias. No Ursaluna, then why use Latias? You use Latias turn 1 all the time to get your Badoo in the active. Like it extends your outs to be able to retreat into do by a lot. By like +5, right? Because Ultra Ball can get Latias, or you can naturally draw into Latias, so you don't have to draw a turn 1 energy to get into your Badoo. Or it allows you to conserve your energy, right? You can attach your energy to your retreat for turn, put Latias in play, retreat, conserving the energy, not losing the energy as well. So that's an interesting... Like, not playing Ursaluna is already, like, something, but then also not playing Latias. I feel like Latias is just so good at making the deck function on... Like, getting Badoo turn... Like, if this deck doesn't get Badoo turn 1 going second, it feels pretty bad. The deck always does it because you play so many tools to get there, right? That's like a big part of your win condition as this deck. One candy only, so it still has some candy in there. 3 counter catcher, 2 boss, 2 night stretcher, 4 ultra ball, 4 poffin, 4 Iono, 3 research, 4 lilies. No supporter based Pokemon search in this build, and then still playing the 2 jamming tower. Amount of games against Poltnor that I have lost to Pop Nor, counter catcher, stretcher, bear, GG is insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like the bear is just kind of insane. Others had 2 fire. Yeah, this list had the 2-2-2 split on the energy, 2 fire, 2 psychic, 2 luminous. This one had 1 fire, 2 psychic, 3 luminous. I'm actually not sure which is best. I'm not gonna lie. One of them is best. Yeah, Blastoise didn't have monkey. Yeah, this list also didn't have monkey as well. Oh, that makes like sense to not have the extra luminous, probably, right? Or that's like one of the reasons. And no Latios, no bear is kind of crazy. I can't imagine the metagame is that much different where Ursaluna's like not worth including still. Ursaluna just seems so broken. All right, now we get to the other Terra Box list. This one actually did have like all the new cards in it. So it's got the 2 Waterpon, 2 Ogerpon. All of us over there still playing 2 Ogerpon. I wonder if there's like more value in playing the 2 Teal Mask next format than there is this format. It seems like everyone's gone down to 1 Cornerstone or 1 Teal Mask in this format. I can't imagine there really is though, to be honest. Pikachu, Terrapagos, of course. Then we got the Mega Mawile EX. For anyone who's unfamiliar with this card, for 2 metal and colors, it does 260. And then if they have any damage counters on them, it only does like 80 damage or something like that. And the first attack for 2 metal does 80 times the amount of prize cards you've taken. So if you're drawing 4 prize cards, you're doing 320 damage, which KOs stuff like Dragapult. I mean, you have Clefairy for that. If you can get down 5 prize cards drawn, you can KO a Charizard. The Mega Mawile, I guess like for the first attack might be the better attack. Honestly, the 260 attack, is that like the better attack more often? But you have Pikachu that does like, well, you don't lose your energy, I guess. Guardy. It does KO Guardy at the end of the game. That is true. After you draw 4 prize cards, KOing Guardy EX is kind of chill. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Mega Mawile in here, to be honest. I'm not sold on it. It's definitely worth trying out, I think. They also have the Mega Kangaskhan in here for more draw power. The ability says when it's in the active, it draws 2 cards. So you set up Kangaskhan, you set up Latias, your opponent takes a knockout, you push up Kangaskhan, you draw 2 cards, you retreat to your attacker, and you attack. Oh, this build does play 3 E-Switch. This build does play 3 E-Switch. And so the 2 Cornerstone makes a lot more sense. Like, they're investing a lot into the Teal Mask. They're investing a lot into the Teal Mask as the energy acceleration. So no Super Rod, no 4th Crispin, which has been the norm for a while. 3 Crispin, 2 Night Stretcher, but then 2 Teal Mask, 3 Energy Switch. He's not playing the Liz Determination. He's still playing that Research. Also plays the Iono. I'm a much bigger fan of, honestly, the winning list. I'm a much bigger fan. I like the Judge. I like the Lily's Determination. I guess they weren't investing more into Crispin. They only played 3 Crispin, 2 Night Stretcher themselves. No Super Rod, no 4th Crispin. The bundle. Yeah, nothing crazy besides that. 3, no Stadium Bump though. I think that just makes sense, to be honest. What was the what led everyone to like playing a Stadium Bump in? Yeah, what led no Briar's kind of crazy? That's actually kind of been the standard for a little while now. Even in like our current format, no one's really playing the most of the most successful Terra decks aren't playing Briar. We see that trend continuing into Mega Evolution over in Japan as well. Yeah, what led to people wanting to play a counter Stadium in the deck to begin with? So you could get your own owls off the board. Oh, true, to open up. But you don't even play that many Night Stretcher to begin with, right? Like most of us right now are playing like a Super Rod and a Night Stretcher. Yeah, I guess bump your own Stadium to get your owls in the discard pile is kind of cool. The idea of removing liabilities off your bench. But was it actually like that even? Was it even ever that strong? Was it ever even that strong? You also bump to move your damage from your own board. Yeah, but just like that play never comes up ever. Like when Terra Box was the first deck, did that play actually come up more? That's what I'm like wondering. Because like since Terra Box has been around, most people have ran one of their own counter stadiums, but I feel like the play doesn't exist. Like the play like never happens, like where it actually matters, or like very low percentage of the time where it ever matters. And we're just getting to this point now where like people aren't playing counter stadiums because it's just not worth the inclusion. Or I guess one of the stadium that people mostly played was Jamming Tower. Was Jamming Tower of higher value previously? Because the thing is, against Guardy doesn't really Bravery Charm. They don't like hit super hard with a Bravery Charm Pokemon very often anyways. So that's not even like a play that lines up that often, I feel like. Where do you go to see these lists? They're on pokebook.com. There was a Golden Go Joltik box in top 16. Is this the last deck, actually? This is the last deck. We'll take a look at what did well, what won Juniors and Seniors, I guess, as well, real fast. Draw the Golden Go. Is this literally, this is basically, it's pretty close to the, there's nothing crazy, right? In this build at all. Penny in a switch, no Turo. Yeah, not a crazy 60 cards here at all. Pretty standard. Jam Tower was really for Tank Terrapagos and Golden Go at the time. What was Golden Go playing back then? Might have been when Palt ran Crystal too. Yeah, possible, yeah. 2 petrol. Yeah, there's 2 petrol in here. Oh, it's a trolley build. Okay, it is a little bit different. I take it back. It is a trolley build. I like missed the trolley there. I'm not gonna lie. There is a trolley in here. That's definitely a little bit different. Not the Prime Catcher build. You gain a little bit more space in the deck. Only 1 nest ball alongside the trolley there to find Pokemon. But you gain more space in the deck. I guess it is playing 2 petrol, 4 Pokegear. Trolley mid, I fear. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of myself personally. And then Seniors Division. Radiant Ball 1. This is weird. It says Seniors League second tournament. Do they run like 2 tournaments? Because then there's Seniors League or Juniors League second tournament. And Golden Go Togekiss won that. But then there's also Seniors League first tournament. And Golden Go Solrock Lunatone won that. The Cramorant's kind of a cool inclusion. It allows you to like play through a fully 1 prize board for the beginning of the game. You can go like Solrock, Cramorant, and then go into Golden Go, which is interesting. You can go like Solrock KO, and then they like set up a bigger attacker point in the active. You go Boss, Solrock KO, and then Cramorant KO, which is kind of cool. And then you evolve to Golden Goes, which means you're not trolleying for your Genesect though, right? Which is like weird if you get Iono'd on that like turn. Or maybe you can like just keep your Golden Goes on the bench maybe and like hide them and not put them in the active. Put them in the line of fire, but that's weird. Is that Hop Band or Vitality Band? Oh, it's both. They have both. They have Vitality Band in here and Hop's Choice Band. So the Cram can hit for what? 150, which fixes math against 120 to 150. We get to KO. I actually don't know. I'm sure there's something where it matters. I can't think of what it matters though. 150 KO is something, I'm sure. And the last Juniors League first tournament. Guardy Heavy Jelly, a 3-2 jelly line. And they play the Latias in here to get into the jelly. Oh, because they're not playing 4 Nest, 4 Ultra. Has the Latias in here. Heavy on the Prime Catcher. What? Yo, they're doing it crazy over there with this build. What the heck? Prime Catcher, Guardy Jelly. Once again, no Arvins, no Team Evos. Liz Determination. Drawing 8 cards is just broken, I guess. Guardy's been solved. Yo, I'm kind of down. I'm down for it. Let's do it. Prime Catcher Guardy. That's when you know Guardy's gone too far, where it no longer has to rely on a disruption or a setup A-spec, and it's just like, what if I just win faster? That's how you know we've lost the war against Guardy. When Guardy's playing Prime Catcher and getting the dub. Yo, appreciate the 19 months there. Kino. Yeah, that's it. That's the results from the Champions League. Some interesting takes on some builds. It makes me more excited to play with the cards tomorrow for sure. So make sure you come out for the set release stream. Going to be streaming for 12 hours, trying all the new cards, the new archetypes, the new decks. But now let's get into some new decks.